We are delighted this evening to have Colonel Randy Timmerman as our speaker. Colonel Timmerman entered the Army through the College Option Officer Candidate Program and was commissioned a second lieutenant of infantry upon graduation from Infantry OCS in 1968. In a career that spanned 30 years, he served in a series of key command and staff assignments both in the U.S. and overseas. He served in combat operations in Vietnam and Panama and served in the Pentagon on the staff of the Army Deputy Chief of Staff for Personnel, just to name a few. Colonel Timmerman is a graduate of the U.S. Army War College and is Ranger qualified, a master parachutist, and a master aviator. In 1993, he was conducted into the OCS Hall of Fame. He retired as the Director of Human Resources for Klausner Home Furnishings. Colonel Timmerman is married to the former Linda Minton, a retired English teacher, and they have 2 children and 6 grandchildren. Please help me welcome retired Army Colonel Randy Timmerman.
I thought Petraeus was going to be here.
I did too. And look what we got.
I know it. I'm over this.
I want to thank Linda for that gracious introduction. And good evening to all of you. I'm not going to ask you if you had a good time because I've been witnessing it all afternoon, and it looks like you're all having fun, and it's a great day to be a veteran. Can I get an amen for that?
Amen.
Here we go. This day really is about you folks, you veterans, and what you've done for all of us, and that's why we're celebrating today. For those of you that are not familiar with the origin of Veterans Day, it goes back to World War I, when the armistice was signed in 1918, at the 11th hour, the 11th day, 11th month, and the war effectively ended at that point. A year later, President Wilson directed that that day be commemorated annually, and in honor of the war dead out of World War I. In 1938, Congress enacted a law that said it would be a legal holiday, and in 1954, Congress amended Armistice Day, and it became Veterans Day, honoring all military veterans. And 94 years later, we're here doing just that today. So it's great to see all of you veterans out, particularly the ones that are here today. This is going on across the country, and I'm proud to be among your ranks. Before I go any further, I don't know how many of you over the last year and a half to 2 years have heard enough speeches with regard to the election that just completed. I'm sure I have. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're concerned about that and how long I'm going to be up here, I'm going to tell you what Elizabeth Taylor told all her 8 husbands before they took their wedding vows, and it won't take long. So, with that being said, I'd like to go back a couple of months. I went to my officer candidate class reunion in Charleston, South Carolina. We've had a number of these over the years, and we had classmates come from all over the country that attended this, and some from overseas, as a matter of fact. We graduated 167 hard-charging second lieutenants in December of 1968 out of the 240 that started the class. And many of them were at this reunion, and it was just great to see these guys again. As you can imagine, we've all changed a little bit in the years that have passed, the 44 years almost now. But in talking to these guys, it was, and although we looked different, we still had the same opinions, and we really hadn't changed inside at all. And it was just neat to be around a group of guys like that were as patriotic as they were and did what they did. Most of us returned safely from Vietnam. We did have some come home wounded that recovered. Several decorated for heroism while we were over there. Unfortunately, some did not return. We had 8 classmates that were killed in Vietnam. But in talking to my classmates at this reunion, one common thread ran through all of our conversations, and it was this: we would all do it again if the call came. Very simple. The patriotism, love of country that was among our class, I think probably is in this group, and I think it really is indicative of veterans across the entire country. What they've given up in their lives, family separations, to go in harm's way, or just to serve their country, is reason for us all to be proud of what they do, and that's why we're celebrating today and recognizing them. Our thoughts went out to those that did not come back from Vietnam. I know most of my classmates left the service after they finished their commitment, went into civilian life. Most became very successful in what they did. We had every conceivable occupation, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, you name it. It ran the gamut. But all were active in their communities, and it almost is, I think, indicative of veterans as a whole. When they come home, they want to get involved in the communities. That's all they really want to do. They don't want anything special. They want to do what we all want to do. They want to have a family to raise, a job to help do that. And we're looking right now at another generation of veterans that are doing just what I'm talking about. Our generation, the one before us, all did the same thing. Came home, many went back to school, many went to work. But this new generation is facing a whole new challenge, and you all know what it is. The economy is horrible. Unemployment is horrible. It's even more horrible among the veterans that are returning. I think it's about 8.5% here in North Carolina. In some of the upper Midwestern states, it's as high as 11%. And disabled veterans, it's even higher than that. Now, one would think, for what they have done for all of us and the sacrifices they've made, that we should do probably something for them. So my message to you tonight is this. We're going to see more and more of these young people coming home, men and women, from jobs all across the country, all across the world. And they're going to be entering the workforce and doing just what I just mentioned, trying to find work, trying to raise a family. But what they're facing is going to be tough. They've got civilians out here looking for the same thing they're looking for. But we need, as a group of people in our community and really across the country, to lend a hand to these folks. They've done much for us, and we should do as much as we can for them. If you know someone that's hiring, knows someone that knows someone that's hiring, or have any influence at all to help these young people as they come home, then please do that. More and more between now and 2014, when our operations in Afghanistan are over, you're going to see these people coming back into the country and trying to reestablish themselves in civilian society. So we owe it to them to help them as much as we can. One thing I wanted to mention, I think, regarding really to what's going on overseas, I think what you see on TV about what's going on in the Mideast, other places in the world, horrible things like the embassy in Benghazi, etc. All you're seeing really from the media is a snapshot in time. But if you've never been there and been on the ground and looked at what actually is happening on the ground and live it every day, not just among the combatants that are involved, but the civilians that are innocent, caught up in the political strife, the men, women, and children that have lost everything, their homes, even their families, is terrible. The face of war really never changes. It's just the people and the places. But our veterans that are coming home, that have experienced that, owe every bit of gratitude that we can give them. And I can tell you right now, our Commander-in-Chief, who directs where we go, our Congress, who sometimes okays what he's directed, they're not the ones that are really doing the nug work. The veterans are the ones out there that guarantee us the freedoms that we have every day in this country, every day, that we probably take for granted, not the least of which what we're doing right here. We can assemble, you can listen to me speak, or you can get up and leave. You can't do that in every country. But our veterans have seen that, they've experienced it, but we owe it to them for what they've done for all of us to give them a big helping hand when they need it, and they're going to need it as they come home. Let me conclude by saying this. It's been a great day to be a veteran. Hope it has been for you. I wish all of you a great holiday season upcoming, and all the best to you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.